What's it like when you have a dude around you, especially a very rules-based dude? Today, let's step into the story of theory of love and feel what is the supreme rule of love. Kai is a famous playboy in the school, and with his good looks and superior good fortune, as well as his extensive relationship skills, he has taken care of almost all the girls in the school. But he had one rule, and that was never to lay hands on those around him. Unluckily, however, his best friend Third falls for him, despite knowing that Kai is impatient and philandering, changing girlfriends as often as he eats. There's no stopping Third from falling for him. When he learns that Kai is single again, Third's heart actually feels inexplicably happy, thinking that there is hope for him again. So the two made plans to go to the movies together. Who knows that his hopes are dashed the next second? Kai, who just broke up, immediately asks Sao Mio, a pretty girl from the finance school. Apparently Third is getting dumped again. Third has encountered situations similar to this one I don't know how many times in the past 3 years, but Kai never looks him in the eye, and he's afraid to say what's on his mind. Every time something like this happens, it ends with Third grieving himself. Poor Third even turns down countless girls and suspends all his feelings in order to see the concert. In the evening, Kai comes back to Third on his own accord, and Third sees right through it that Kai has something to ask for. Turns out he wanted to see Blackpink in concert, which is why he begged Third to help him get in line for tickets. So the next day, Third got to the ticket booth early to grab his tickets. He also bought the tickets to see Lisa so he could go with Kai. But in the blink of an eye, he learns that Kai has already bought tickets from other people and is going to the concert with his girlfriend. This made Third feel a little bit ashamed of himself, and he had to awkwardly take back the 2 tickets. Sure enough, crushes are just sadder, hating themselves for not being able to get it, but not being able to let it go. Soon after, Kai breaks up again and gets beaten up by Mio's new boyfriend because he won't give up. In an effort to irritate his ex-girlfriend, Kai rightfully enlists Third's help to prove his resolve to break up by asking him to help return Mio's things to her. Kai and Third spend more time together after the breakup. The two recorded a movie review together and made plans to go to the movies on Saturday. Third dresses up for the appointment, but the next thing he knows, he gets a call from Kai saying he's not coming home. But when his friends say they've only seen Kai, Third, unwilling to believe it, runs to the movie theater to test his suspicions, only to be disappointed by what he sees. Watching Kai and Mio's sweetness, Third takes a bite of the chicken wrap and swallows all her aggression into her stomach as she holds back tears. The next day, Kai reaches out to Third to apologize for missing his appointment, but unbeknownst to him, Kai's real goal is just to get him to help find the lost box. In the evening, Third rummages through the trash cans alone for quite some time and finally finds the old lost item and gives it to Kai. Instead, he didn't have to thank him and slammed the door in a hurry. Listening to the ambiguous sounds of the 2 men in the room, Third instantly felt like a clown, getting wet, grieving, agonizing, and tearing up all by himself for him. Having a crush on someone can't be so humbling. Third finally decides he wants to give up on the 3-year relationship. How much does it hurt to fall in love with your straight best friend? And it's only after being hurt numerous times that Third finally decides to let go of his feelings for Kai. But he still overestimated his own determination, and once he saw the props the two had used at the orientation party, he instantly went soft again, and ultimately didn't have the courage to cut it all off. Watching Third be entrapped by his love, Tad decides to give Third some advice to help him chase Kai. It just so happens that the competition entry needs to be patched up with ambient sounds, and with Tad's help, Third finally gets a chance to spend some time alone with Kai. The campus lake at night, accompanied by bursts of insects, the breeze through the ears. There is actually a little romantic feeling as Third prepares to take the opportunity to confess his love to Kai. The like is already in his throat, but he swallows it back and misses the great opportunity for nothing. Seeing that Kai is still dating girls, Tat tells Third that if he doesn't confess, he'll have to be Kai's friend. But what can Third do, falling in love with someone he shouldn't? He doesn't dare to confess. He can only grieve alone in private. Third has been moping around all day because of this. I didn't expect Kyrie to suddenly be considerate and take the initiative to comfort Third, not only asking him to have dinner, but also accompanying him to watch a movie. This gives Third renewed hope, but soon hope turns to disappointment. Watching the same romantic movie, Third is moved to secret tears, while Kai falls asleep impatiently on the side. After the movie, the two were in review mode. Kai found the movie very boring. The female lead obviously likes the male lead. Why don't she boldly confess? It's easier to succeed. Third, on the other hand, empathizes with what the heroine is going through, because if she does say it, she's afraid she won't even be friends. Probably motivated by Kai's words, Third began to secretly practice various confession words. Even at Taz's suggestion, he learns how to confess his love in the movie and prepares to confess his love to Kai on Valentine's Day. On Valentine's Day, Third musters up the courage to stand up to him and brings true love's confession to life by telling him how much she loves him. However, in the face of this unprepared confession, Kai, who is a big straight man, doesn't think much of it at all and instead mistakes Third for a plan to get him and Mule back together. It doesn't even work as a confession, so that means Kai pressed the concept. The only way for Kai to really realize what Third likes is to slowly change from spending time together. With Tess' help, the scheming Third finally moves into Kai's house. He had entered his room for the first time as a roommate and made a point of wiping away any traces of the other women in the room with every ounce of strength he could muster, as if he were swearing sovereignty. Third and Kai have been living together ever since. They went to school together, watched movies together, got some new furniture together, even bought couple mugs, and seemed to be in perfect harmony. Third thought that moving in would be a turning point in his life, but he didn't realize it was just the beginning of Third's heartache. Soon Kai resurrects his old ways and goes out with a new schoolgirl and brings her home. Watching them talk and laugh, Third only felt that all the efforts he had made before were a joke. Is falling in love with your straight best friend destined for a sad ending? After dinner, in order to show her virtuousness in front of Kai, the schoolgirl runs and grabs the dishes, but she doesn't want to break their couple cup. Third, who hadn't had time to get depressed, was kicked out of the room again by Kai with an excuse. He said that his schoolmate was an introvert and was too embarrassed to talk to himself if there were outsiders around. Third knew there was more to it than just chatting, but what could he do? Where can a person go out in the middle of the night? Friends all have appointments. Third only his own single and alone to the internet cafe. Open a computer, watching romantic movies. Just as he's moved to tears, he's interrupted again by a sidewalk schoolboy, still clamoring for Third to play Transformers for him. Third comes out of the internet cafe at 3 a.m. He calls Kai and gets hung up on again. In this way, Third waited until the next morning, when the schoolgirl left from the house. Look at Kai being heartless, all apologetic, and clamoring for breakfast. Third was so angry that he grabbed his book bag and went straight to class. At night, Kai brings the woman home again. Through the door Kai left open on purpose, Third sees the expected scene. He quietly closed the door behind him and returned to his room. All the emotions accumulated over the past few days exploded here, and the tears came out uncontrollably. It's amazing how heartbreaking it is to fall in love with a philanderop's best friend. Judging by last night, Kai must be the big straight man for sure. The next day, recognizing reality, Third prepares to move out of Kai's house, but as he packed his bags, he hesitated, looking at all the furniture that had been purchased for him. Third couldn't help but remember the warm moments with Kai, but before Third could think twice about leaving, he was suddenly brought back to reality by a knock on the door. Turns out it was the schoolgirl who came to the house looking for someone. As soon as she came in, she rummaged around and got into a fight with Third. Just then, Kai happens to come home. Seeing the scene in front of him, he instantly and domineeringly warned the schoolgirl to stop being irrational, as she would be disturbing her friends by doing so. After saying these words, he even directly drove away the schoolmates. At the evening's best friend party, Kai fixes the damaged couple's teacups again and has a heartwarming speech for Third, vowing never to bring a woman home again. Third lays a drunken Kai down on the bed and thoughtfully removes his socks and pillows him. Third was just about to leave when he heard Kai repeat what he had said during the day. They say that when you drink, you speak the truth, and his words renewed Third's hope to the point where he was willing to take the risk of being hurt. Needless to say, it's really hard not to be impressed by Kai's array of behaviors. He would feed Third a kielbasa in front of the crowd, and later pander to Third for a kiss like he did to his girlfriend. After the shower, he rubbed Third's lotion on him as if nothing had happened. When he asked you to watch a movie, he prepared popcorn and sodas to Third's taste. He also leaned his head on Third's shoulder bright and early in the movie box. When he comes home from school, he again breaks the rules and gives Third permission to ride in his girlfriend's exclusive car. He even dedicated an exclusive love song to Third when he ordered a song at a karaoke bar. Is this really just a friendship? Though Third was outwardly calm, he had actually fallen long ago on the inside. He thought his friendship with Kai would rise to the top, but he didn't realize it was all just a trick on his part, and Kai is only doing all this to try to see if Third likes him or not. Now it's time to wake up from the dream. So Third left the party without saying a word. When he came home in the evening, he even had a direct falling out with Kai. The next day, Third finally moves out of his house, ready to officially exit the fruitless relationship.
ถ้ามึงไม่ตอบกูภายในวันเนี้ยมึงไม่ต้องเรียกกูว่าเพื่อนอีก
In the evening, Third is at Taz's house recording a new movie review. Love makes people crazy, and as soon as she related the experience of her crush, Third instantly burst into tears. He also gushes out his feelings for Kai without reservation, but he did not dare to publicize this sentiment, so he had to bury these words deep. A few people visible in the circle of friends. Can you stay friends with your straight best friend after being played by him? For this question, third chose to do back to the old days, but as soon as he sees Kai turn around and get a new girlfriend, instantly, third's anger comes up and he yells at Kai for being promiscuous and screwing around. His hard words made even his friend on the sidelines look away. Now, the two of them fell out straight away, and they really don't even have to be friends anymore, do they? At night, third cries bitterly in his room, knowing that he intends to be friends again, but he just can't let him go. 3 years of secret love in return. Kai's desperate love. Can you stay friends after you fall out with your straight best friend? After Kai offered to apologize, third had no reason to continue the standoff.
มึงกับกูเรากลับมาเป็นเพื่อนกันได้ปะวะ ได้ดิ
For a while, the two went back to being friends. Today Kai dragged third again to pick out lipstick for his girlfriend. In return, he gave third a necklace of his choice. The two thought they would be fine with each other, but Kai, who was drunk, suddenly put his arms around third and said lovey-dovey words, and even caught him off guard with a strong kiss. Meanwhile, the names of other girls were on his lips. There had been countless times when third had tried to kiss Kai, but didn't realize that he was being treated as if he were another girl. This is a great insult to third. Ouch, Kai is such an unapologetic asshole. The next day, Kai acts like nothing happened again and brings a new girlfriend. So this is the woman Kai was reading about last night. Each of their sweet interactions pierced third's heart as a knife. Third finally couldn't take it anymore, so he made an excuse to leave early. Who knows, he's just halfway there when he stopped by Kai again. He's serious this time, and he's ready to find someone to spend the rest of his life with. Since Kai chooses to start a relationship in earnest, third naturally has nothing to say, just as an excuse to give up. It's just that the unspeakable I love you has turned into an endless sadness that needs to be digested by third himself alone. Third finally chooses to give up and stop surrounding Kai. Over the next few days, he moved back to his former home, started reaching out to new friends, and put all his energy into the script again. Since then, third has rarely been seen in Kai's world. After a few days of absence, Kai's heart is instantly empty, and he can't concentrate in class. His mind is always filled with third. Kai never expected that third would just leave his world without a word. This loneliness and despondency is increasing. He sees third again, next to a poster promoting the stage play. The two simply greeted each other without unnecessary pleasantries, which would be a reflection of the vast majority of people in reality. At this rate, I'm afraid third is going to be a complete stranger to him. At this point, Kai finally panics, and it turns out he already knows how third feels about him. He had wanted to reject third in the most brutal way possible, thinking that would turn him back into his old best friend relationship with him. But unbeknownst to them, the two ended up not even being able to be friends. This should be a big deal for Playboy Kai, but why is he upset at this point? Could Kai already be in love with third? So he thought he'd try it on a woman at a party. Soon, he regained the feeling he once had, but when it came time, he couldn't again. His mind was filled with his best friend third. Did he really like third? A depressed Kai finds his brother to talk to. After a long conversation, he realized that his brother was actually a very devoted man. With his brother's enlightenment, Kai finally decides to face his heart. When he got home, Kai couldn't help but smile when he looked at his circle of friends. Is it possible that she really is in love with third? But the thought of going on a date and having to switch from the girl he was dating to third, who was now his date, struck him as odd. But on second thought, he wasn't averse to having ice cream with third, which bothered him even more. At the bar at night, Kai runs into third, whom he hasn't seen in a long time. Who had numerous girlfriends, was actually so nervous that his heart was pounding. Within a few words, he couldn't wait to reveal to third that he was back to being single. However, third had long since become numb to this and didn't feel anything special. Hearing that third is going to participate in a promotional event for a stage play, Kai, who has learned the news, goes along, but when he arrives, he realizes that third actually took the thumping that Kai gave him and put it up for auction. It seems third has been dead to Kai for a long time. After some bidding with the seniors, Kai ended up taking the bag at a high price. After the auction, he begged third to take the movie back and gamely put it in the ground. Unfortunately, it doesn't work at all on the deadbeat third. After taking a call from his senior, third walks right off, leaving Kai dumbfounded. It was in this moment that Kai realized what heartache felt like. So Kai confesses to his friend that he likes third and wants to pursue him. But Tia is the first to disagree, as he's watched third agonize over Kai. Now that third is having a hard time letting go of his obsession, he doesn't want Kai to bother third again. But Kai says he's serious, and that third was the first person to make his heart flutter. To prove his determination, Kai also deletes all the girls in his address book. Immediately afterward, he made excuses to come to third's house, and also studied and worked with him. He hadn't cared for third before, and now it seemed like third was cute. Though, Kai was snickering, and at the thought that he had even entertained the thought of his best friend Kai did a couple of push-ups to calm down. Over the next few days, Kai starts pestering third again and takes a public account to post adorable private photos of third, and even mixes it up to become an actor in a theater company. This inexplicable behavior gave birth to a little nasty feeling in third. At night, they, fed up with the harassment, asks Kai what he really wants. Kai, who is immersed in a sea of happiness, is just about to confess his love when suddenly Seven and the senior enter the room as well and even dine with them. Watching third and Seven talking and laughing, a strong sense of crisis surged through him. This time, Kai finally realizes what it means to be truly in love. When one truly loves someone, one can't help but pay attention to everything about them and become afflicted and uncertain. Will he be able to recover third? How will the two end up? On this day, Kai is all set to pick up third from school, but he goes off with his senior. The once popular Kai is now so disliked that Kai, who couldn't swallow this, actually followed them all the way there and joined them in their fundraising activities. Kai thought he would make a good impression on third, but instead he invites the woman from before, annoying third even more. After the troops event, he looks for another opportunity to ask third to see a movie, but he simply declines. From the phone call, Kai also learns that third this is going to be scripted against Seven. The usual playboy is finally experiencing what it's like to be jealous. In order to verify the conjecture in his heart, he even ran to the entrance of the movie theater to wait for a rabbit, only to see a scene that broke his heart. In the evening, third accompanies Kai to the theater. However, at this point, he was completely out of it, full of thoughts about what happened during the day, and acting out a comedy into a crying scene. For a moment, he actually experienced what third had felt in the beginning, because she couldn't stand the image of third and Seven together. The next day, Kai was ready to personally quit her job as an actor to third, but looking at third sleeping from overwork, Kai has the urge to steal a kiss and confess his love. Who knows that just after the kiss, he is caught by third and mistaken by third that Kai is teasing him again. It was hard for third to walk out, but then he was harassed like this by Kai, so he got angry on the spot. But I didn't expect third's reaction to be so strong that Kai, who was too late to confess his feelings, had to ride away sadly, due to his excessive grief and lack of concentration. Kai couldn't avoid the obstacle in time and was knocked right out of the way and fell a long way. Kai, in the middle of a car accident, is having flashbacks of his time with third in his head. It's at this point that Kai realizes that this pain he's feeling is nothing compared to third's. In order to catch up with third, Kai actually forces himself to come and pick up third and take him home, even though he's injured in a car accident. But just after apologizing, Kai faints. Seeing Kai, alive or dead, third finally panics. In a moment of urgency, Seven arrives on the scene and helps third get Kai to the hospital. Luckily, he was taken to the hospital in time and Kai was not fundamentally injured, but he still had to recuperate for a month with a cast on. At the hospital, third carefully feeds Kai water. Much to Kai's excitement, the friends saw this and left to create a world of for them. Kai was going to confess his feelings to third, but got a call from Seven, so third left. Thinking of third and Seven's intimate images, Kai feels hopeless and it plans to give up on the relationship. But he's just about ready to give up when third delivers clothes and picks him up from the hospital on behalf of his parents, which restores Kai's hope and happiness. However, shortly after Kai is pleased, third calls in Seven to help review her homework. Watching the two of them being so close, Kai felt very forlorn. Upon review at the hospital, doctors found that Kai had multiple infected wounds. Without help in caring for them, the condition may worsen. When she gets home, in order not to cause trouble for others, Kai endures the pain and goes to pour water, but ends up wetting herself. Watching him fall to pieces, third offers to help him bathe. In the past, Kai would definitely be carefree, but now he's actually a little shy. In the bathtub, third meticulously undressed Kai, then scrubbed his body and washed his hair as if he were a small child. Looking at third's virtuous appearance, Kai can't help but sigh that even if he can't be a couple, he should keep him firmly by his side as a close friend. Soon, a semester passed. After the exam, the students met to play games. After talking about the crush buddy issue, Kai and third both got hit with a silent drink. Immediately after that, the senior asked everyone to guess who third liked. Everyone in the room pointed to Seven as the answer. One female classmate is even more outspoken, claiming that Seven has been clearly pursuing third lately. Though third denied it out of his mouth, Kai took it seriously. During the night, Kai also beats up Seven, which third is furious about. In the midst of their argument, Kai finally utters the words, "I love you." Finally, he mouthed the words of his favorite word, and third frowns momentarily. The crush turns into a two-way run on this, but can he really believe what Kai says? At noon, Kai humbly tries to take third to dinner, only to be decisively rejected by third.
ไม่อยากเจ็บอีกแล้วอะไม่เป็นไรยังไงกูก็จะปรับปรุงตัว
All of this is in the eyes of my friends. Tay reminds third not to overdo it. Even though the way Kai hit Seven was wrong, at least it proves he cares about you. After listening to his friend's words, they, who knows he's in the wrong, is ready to give Kai a chance. When it's time for the date, Kai not only dresses up, but also presents Third with a blue siren, which represents his crush. Even though he knew it was his usual routine, Third was especially happy to receive the flowers. During the meal, he helped peel the shrimp and thoughtfully changed the chopsticks. All the details proved that he valued Third. Slowly, Third's feelings for him were no longer repulsive. In the evening, Kai is ready to ride out the storm and asks Third to his house for a heartfelt confession. Kai says that he likes Third alone now. Let bygones be bygones and they can't start over. But it doesn't seem to be working, and Third still can't forget what happened before. When it counts, it's also about body language. When he wasn't looking, Kai went straight for the kiss. Third blushes at once and makes a hasty escape. Kai was expecting another disappointment, but instead found an affirmative answer from Third. At this point, Kai actually jumped like a child. Finally, he's going to be with Third. However, just as Third and Kai are about to make it official, another girl enters their relationship. On this day, Kai is getting ready to head to the theater troupe to audition for the lead singer when he accidentally bumps into a schoolgirl. The schoolgirl, who was originally angry, saw that the person who came was actually a big handsome guy, and suddenly her attitude changed dramatically. She also pretended that her car had broken down and wanted him to give her a ride. Kai meets the schoolgirl again during the lead singer auditions. Listening to her wonderful voice, Kai couldn't help but get a little carried away and couldn't help but give her all sorts of compliments. And this scene was just in time for Third to see it. Despite Kai's defense that he just liked her voice, they, with a man's sixth sense, felt that something was amiss. On this day, Kai meets up with his schoolmate again, only to be seen by Third on the spot again. To show his candor, Kai also introduces his schoolmate to Third. At lunch, the schoolgirls again Saturday in Third's exclusive seat. Although she eventually left, she left a beautiful and lovely impression on her best friend. At this moment, a feeling of uneasiness grew in Third's heart. We agreed to go out together, but Kai had to leave at the last minute. In the evening, Third and Tia are drinking at the bar. A man's sixth sense made him feel that there was something strange about his schoolmate. Tia also saw Third's concern. He happens to learn that Kai is also partying upstairs and suggests that Third go upstairs to check it out, thus putting his mind at ease. But Third doesn't want to be mean, so he runs to the bar alone and orders some drinks, only to get a look across the room. Before he could say more than a few words, he went on a rampage against Third. Third, as a prospective boyfriend, was self-conscious enough to report that he was no longer single, and said he was sorry and went straight up to the second floor to get ready to bring Kai some drinks. But just then, he saw a scene that shocked him. Kai and the schoolgirl were seen kissing straight away. Third, who saw this image, went downstairs in a huff and then gamely kissed the man from before. And the scene is just in time for Kai, who has just come downstairs to see it. A jealous Kai punches him straight down, and then he runs to the wall with Third in his arms, ready to rise to the occasion. At this point, Third recalls the previous images and can't take it anymore. He cries about the grievances in his heart. When he gets home for the night and sees the man who has come to apologize, Third throws a bottle straight at him and tries hysterically to get rid of him. Kai couldn't care less about his injured foot and held Third tightly in his arms. After everything went quiet, Third's heart slowly went cold. After Third helps Kai wrap his injured foot, Third is actually speechless at Kai. Soon it will be the day that I agreed to go to the beach with my best friend. Third, who had just had a falling out with Kai, pressed on and didn't want to go, while Kai's side was ready to go early, usually unpunctual. He even came to the station early. It's almost time to drive and Kai calls him again, only to be prompted that his cell phone is turned off, and Tia didn't come over. Third learns the truth about that night from Tia. It turns out that it was the schoolgirl who took the initiative to jump over and kiss Kai at that time. Now she's been isolated by the entire sound crew, but Third still feels like a slap in the face, and at this point he's not ready to forgive Kai, who knows that by mistake, the other one didn't go either. Now, Kai is really abandoned by the crowd. Unable to do anything else, Third went soft, and he immediately darted in the direction of the train station. And Kai is left, alone, watching the car drive away, calling every single person, but every single one of them is turned off. He gnawed on bread when he was hungry, laced in place when he was tired, and played with his cell phone without power, waiting from day to night. Finally, Third arrived. He saw this impatient Kai, who had actually insisted on waiting until now, and Third actually felt a little sorry for him. Then, as soon as he did, he hugged Kai from the front. The two embraced at the train station and it was all over. Thus, he is forgiven, but can Kai really win back Third's heart? In order to give Third peace of mind, Kai decides to change his old bad habits. When it comes to his longest dating ex-girlfriend, Kai learns to actively distance himself and then coldly reject it. While Kai's performance was a plus, in no uncertain terms, it stunned the afflicted Third. If they break up in the future too, are they not even friends anymore? At the thought of this worst-case scenario, Third would have preferred it all not to have begun. Kai also thought a lot on the way home, and also finally made up his mind that he wanted to be with Kai, even if they will break up later, but he still doesn't want to give up Third. After seeing Kai make up his mind, Kai immediately comes up with an idea. If Kai changes the flaws on his list, he should be able to impress Third, right? First is the problem of writing too fast. After all, he's taking Third with him now, so he must be safe. The second is that it's too easy to rush and be impatient. Then there is the lack of academic progress. These points are easy to overcome. It's his treatment of his feelings that is the hardest to change. In addition to not being a philanderer, you have to take ownership of your responsibilities and reflect on the emotional debts you've committed in the past. No doubt Kai was able to correct all of them, and while all the efforts he makes are seen by Third, Third still seems insecure. The most important thing in a relationship between two people is sincerity. Can Kai, being the playboy that he is, really give up the others for him? Kai is desperate to prove that he's serious, and with that he asks Third out to his house and confesses his love for him with a solemn face. But does love really need so many flashy forms? The most important thing about whether or not to start a relationship is not to ask the person if they want to or not, but to ask yourself if you are really ready to start a relationship that you will never give up on. Over the next few days, Kai watched all the romance movies and finally found the answer to it. He confesses his love for Third again, in front of the entire faculty. The two embraced amidst the congratulations of the entire hospital. The former playboy is finally reformed. Kai and Third are also graduating to their new lives. But what I didn't expect is that Kai confessed successfully, but actually turned into a wife in seconds. Nearing graduation, Kai parties with his buddies, and as a former playboy, Kai immediately attracts the attention of the neighboring schoolgirls. Seeing that the schoolgirl is interested in him, Kai quickly explains that he is no longer single. But even then, the schoolgirl wasn't going to give up. She just kissed him and left lipstick marks on Kai on purpose. Kai, who has had previous experience, is instantly freaked out and is afraid that if Third finds out about it, it will get to the point of breaking up again. Seeing that she is about to go off the deep end, Kai rushes to the restroom to wipe off her lipstick. When he came back, Kai even looked at Third with a very evasive look, a very guilty look. He was finally relieved to learn that the other man hadn't noticed. The reformed Kai becomes very humble, and is always worried that what he used to do will break the other person's heart, or that he didn't do enough to make them angry. For the rest of the day, Kai felt a sense of guilt every day. After the graduation photo shoot, Kai finally finds Third and confesses what happened the night of the party. As it turns out, Third already knew, but relationships are supposed to be between two people, and that's something Third can't still tell the difference. Time went by so fast and they finally graduated. The beautiful college life saw them progress from strangers to lovers. Thinking back to the first time the two of them met, it still seems like yesterday, and it's still fresh in my mind. Next, the two chose to work together without complicated stories or other women. They work well and try to live their lives in the truest sense of the word. With the accumulation of work experience and capital, they also set up their own studio. Little did they know that movies would not only be a testament to their love, but also become a future career. They even won an industry award one day. After a few years of settling down, they finally realized that mediocrity is real. It doesn't take much of a row to be happy with your significant other for the rest of their lives. If there were any conflicts, they were always the first to resolve them. After years of being in love, Kai finally proposed to Third. Kai takes Third to the movie theater, where the screen shows bits and pieces of their years. After a heartfelt confession, Kai picks up the ring and slowly slips it on for Third. With their friends as witnesses, they moved on to the next stage of their lives together. Well, that's the end of today's video. I hope this theory of love will also help you understand something about love. Thank you for your support and watching, and we'll see you in the next installment.